Now here we have a mixed number and a fraction. Well, if we have mixed numbers, excuse me one second, my wife's calling. Sorry about the interruption, but my wife had called me. So I had to run down and see what she wanted. Okay, so back to multiplication. We have a mixed number here, 5.5, and a fraction. Well, we cannot multiply the fractions because of the mixed number. So, if you remember, one of the skills we learned is how to turn a mixed number into an improper fraction. So that's what we have to do. So we have 2 times 5 is 10, and 1 is 11. 11 halves. Now I can multiply because I have two fractions. So now I just treat it just like it's a normal fraction. Multiply that and that. 11 times 1 is 11. 2 times 3 is 6. And I have an improper fraction, so I have to change that. 6 goes into 11 one time, and I have 5 left over. So 1 and 5, 6. So 5.5 times 1/3 gives me 1 and 5/6. The skill that I have to know here is I have to know to change the mixed number to an improper fraction, then I can multiply. Let's take a look at another problem here. Okay, here I have two mixed numbers. Well, I have to change both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions before I can multiply. So let's do the first one. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So 5 halves times 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 is 10. 10 thirds. Now I have two improper fractions, so I can multiply now. I'll just multiply across. 5 times 10 is 50. 2 times 3, 6. Now I have an improper fraction, so I have to change it back to a mixed number. 6 goes into 50. Well, I know 6 times 8 is 48, so 6 goes into 50 8 times, that's 48, and 2 left over, and 2/6 left over. So 8 and 2/6, but I know 2/6 is not in its lowest name, so I have to reduce it. I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 6 3 times. And so my answer is 8 1/3. So, quite a lot of skills involved in this kind of a problem. At first I have to change mixed numbers to improper fractions. Then I multiply. My answer is in terms of an improper fraction. I have to change it to a mixed number. And then I have to make sure that the fraction in the mixed number is reduced to its lowest name. All right, I'm going to put a couple of problems up for you, and we'll see how you do. Okay, so here are two problems for you. We have a mixed number, 4 1/2, times a fraction, 1/4. And the second problem, we have two mixed numbers, 1 1/2 times 2 2/3. Put the DVD on pause and work these in your notebook, and then turn the DVD back on again, and we'll go over them. All right, let's work with the first problem. Well, we know we have to change this mixed number to an improper fraction, so 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so that's 9 halves times 1/4. Now I have two fractions, so I can just multiply. 9 times 1 is 9, 2 times 4 is 8. I know that this is an improper fraction, and I have to change it. 8 goes into 9 one time, and 1 left over. So 4 1/2 times 1/4. Change this mixed number to an improper fraction. Multiply. Answer is in the form of a improper fraction and just change it back, and this is in its lowest name, so 1 1/8 is the correct answer. Let me just get this out of the way so we can take a look at the second problem. Okay, so we have two mixed numbers, so we know we have to change these to improper fractions. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. I'm going to put it over here. 3 halves times 3 times 2 is 6, 7, 8, 8 thirds. Now we just multiply and multiply because we have two fractions. 3 times 8, 8 and 8 is 16, 16 and 8 is 24. 2 times 3 is 6. All right, now we have an improper fraction as an answer, and we know that we have to change that. So 6 divided into 24 goes 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24. And nothing is left over. There's the answer. Good. Okay. Now let's get some little different kinds of multiplication problems. Well, here's a problem that has 3 fractions, but it's done exactly the same as if it were just 2 fractions. You could have 10 fractions all in a row. It would be done exactly the same. You just multiply across. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. So all we did was multiply, and now our answer is a proper fraction, which is good, but it's not in its lowest name. We can divide both sides by 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 24 12 times, because 12 and 12 is 24. So the answer is 1/12. So no matter how many fractions you have, you just deal with it the same way. And by the way, let's suppose, let me clean this out a little bit. Let's suppose we had 3 1/2 times 2/3 times 2 1/4. Well, it's the same thing. You change this to an improper fraction. 2 times 6. 2 times 3, pardon me, is 6, and 1 is 7, so it would be 7 halves times 2 thirds. And now you take this mixed number and you change it. 4 times 2 is 8, and 1 is 9, 9 fourths. And then you would just multiply. And then if it's an improper fraction, change it back into a mixed number and make sure your answer is in its lowest name. So it doesn't matter how many fractions you have or whether you have mixed numbers, fractions. Oh, here's an example. Let's take this one. Suppose we had, and I think you'll know what to do here. Suppose we had, in fact, let's do this. 2 1/2 times 5 times 1/3. All right, now we have a mixed number, a whole number, and a fraction. Well, we have to make these all into fractions so we can work with it. So we know we can change the mixed number to an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 is 5. 5 halves times. Now we know we can put 5 over 1 because that's the same as the number 5. And then we have 1/3. And then we would just multiply just like you would with normal fractions. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 1, 25. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. And we have an improper fraction. And so we would say 6 goes into 25. Well, in the problem before, we knew that 6 times 4 is 24, so 6 goes into 25 4 times, because that's 24, and 1 left over. So, whether we have mixed numbers, whole numbers, fractions, we just convert everything to a fraction, and then we just multiply. And that's all that's to it. Excellent. Well, we have one more